In the early years of the 1700s, Europe was plunged into a massive war that dragged on for over a decade. Armies marched, alliances crumbled, and thousands died. But why? Well, it was because of two royal families, one in France and the other one in Austria. But for what were they fighting? Well, it was a war over a chair. Well, not any chair, of course, it was the Spanish throne. That's not the topic of today's video. We're not gonna talk about the Spanish War, right? We're gonna talk about chairs.
Oh la la! Oh, king in the castle, king in the castle. Have a chair, I have a chair.
Chairs are so common today that we rarely think about where they actually come from. But why did humans start using chairs in the first place? From ancient thrones to everyday tools, chairs have shaped how we live, work, and express power. The word itself comes from the Latin cathedra, which also led to the word cathedral. A place where a bishop's chair stands, symbolizing authority. Chairs have long been tied to status, class, and culture. The oldest known chairs date back to ancient Egypt. Found in royal tombs, they were made of wood, gold, and ivory, used by pharaohs to show power. Most people sat on the ground or low stools at that time. In ancient China, folding stools became elite items during the Tang dynasty. These chairs were linked to scholars and Buddhist traditions. The klismos in Greece and the curule seat in Rome were chairs for the rich and powerful. They symbolized rank and leadership in the city-states and empires. Many cultures didn't use chairs at all. In Mongolia, people sat on rugs or low stools, since their nomadic lifestyle. In Japan, sitting on tatami mats showed respect and humility. These habits came from a lifestyle, values, and tradition. In fact, in Japanese courtrooms and royal settings, people would sit on the floor for hours while addressing nobles or the emperor. There are historical anecdotes of attendees suffering from numb legs, a phenomenon so widespread that special standing poses were sometimes introduced. This endurance was seen as a form of discipline and respect in court culture. In the Middle Ages, only kings, nobles, and monks had proper chairs. England's coronation chair, made over 700 years ago, is still used today. Regular folks sat on benches or stood. During the Renaissance, chairs became art. Designs like Louis XIV armchair or the Chippendale chair showed wealth and style. With the Industrial Revolution, chairs became more mass-produced. The Thonnet Benward chair used steam to bend wood into shape. These lightweight but also affordable chairs filled cafes, schools, and offices across Europe and beyond. Chairs were no longer just for the rich, they were for everyone. One of the most famous chairs, I think we all know, right, is the monoblock chair, a simple plastic design. But it's one of the most used ones in the world. Cheap, durable, and stackable. It appears in homes, parks, gardens, and restaurants worldwide. The Poeng chair from IKEA sold over 30 million times since 1977, and it mixes comfort with low cost. It's a great example of practical design. Some chairs are even design icons. The Eames lounge chair from 1956 is seen in museums and films, while the Lockheed lounge chair, which sold over 3.7 million, is one of the, or I think even the most expensive chair ever sold. And it's not even practical in my opinion. And it's very cold.
Hier, was ich gar nicht mag, ist, ich habe auch den Namen vergessen, sind solche Experimente. Ne?
Das teuerste Design, das jeweils bei Auktionen am Preis
führt zu den Missverständnissen, gerne von der Presse aufgegriffen werden, und das ist dann plötzlich, Design ist ja nur teurer. Das führt dazu.
So also, chairs became an art and status symbol. But there is a big downside to chairs. Sitting for hours every day is linked to back pain, heart disease, diabetes, and even shorter lifespans. A 2022 study showed that people who sit over 8 hours a day, even if they exercise, face up to 20% higher risk of early death. More than 80% of jobs today involve sitting, which is crazy. I'm even sitting right now talking to you, so maybe I should do that standing next time. The market for ergonomic chairs is now worth over 11 billion, showing how much we try to make sitting less harmful, because we know we're not supposed to sit that long. People are also exploring new ways to sit: standing desks, kneeling chairs, and balance balls. These allow small movements and better posture. In places like India and Japan, sitting on the floor remains still common. It strengthens the core and improves flexibility. New inventions like the Alt workstation and Capisco chair support sitting, standing, and reclining all in one, but they're quite expensive. And who knows, maybe in future we have some chairs who track your posture, or maybe just, adjust to your body, move with you. That would be pretty nice. So, from pharaohs to programmers, the chair tells the story of a status, comfort, and also health. It reflects how we live and how we adapt.
My back is hurting from the chair I'm sitting on. Where's the Tylenol?
Think about it next time when you sit too long. Stand up, move a little bit. But apparently even then it doesn't help, right? Before we continue with the video, I wanted to do a list with honorable mentions of chairs. We're starting with the ejection seat, the only chair designed to launch you out of your own seat. Perfect for life-saving moments and emergencies, right? Then there's also the infamous electric chair. I don't think I have to say anything about that. After that, we have the dentist chair. We all know the dentist chair, right? Some love being at the dentist, but I think most of us hate it. On the other side, we also have the beanbag chair. In my opinion, one of the most uncomfortable chairs ever invented. Then of course, one of our all-time favorites we all use on a daily basis. It's the toilet chair. Or just toilet, right? It's kind of like a hybrid of sitting and having a use for it. Then of course, we also have the lifeguard chair, which is very important. Then there's also the tattoo chair. Not all of the tattoo artists use a tattoo chair, I would say. I mean, I guess you can tattoo yourself anywhere. And of course, behind all of these chairs, or most of the chairs, are some people who designed them, right? I mean, they didn't maybe invent it, but they kind of took the already given structure of the chair and, redesigned it. Right, I was talking about the Eames lounge chair, which was invented by Charles and Ray Eames. Then there's also Arne Jacobsen, the Danish designer behind the egg chair and the swan chair, which are very kind of futuristic looking. The famous Barcelona chair was designed by Ludwig Wies van der Rohe. His motto was, "Less is more." And then of course, there's also the famous red and blue chair, which was designed by Gerrit Rietveld. One of the first single molded chairs ever made was the S-shaped Panton chair by Werner Panton, which is still a pop icon in design. Another very important one in my opinion is the wheelchair, right? Without the wheelchair, many humans couldn't be able to move around. So that's kind of cool to have a wheelchair. And finally, we have the interrogation chair, which is kind of like a metaphorical chair if you think about it, right? I mean, most people are sitting on a chair, but it's probably not always the same one, is it? Let's come back to the question we raised at the beginning of this video. Why did humans invent chairs? On a practical level, to relieve tired legs. Maybe just sitting in the garden or in the landscape, enjoying the view. On a deeper level though, the chair reflects our drive to shape our environment to suit us. We design chairs to support us. Yet, once built, they in turn shape us, influencing our posture, habits, and even social hierarchies. The humble chair is an artifact of both ergonomics and culture. It props up the human body in a position that we decided is proper for eating, reading, or working. By cradling our body just so, the chair imposes a certain stillness and stability. You know, sometimes it hurts when you sit, so you just move a little bit so it doesn't hurt anymore, but this kind of is counter-beneficial. This also raises a little bit the philosophical question in my opinion. Because we invented the chair to make life easier, but in doing so, we also chained ourselves to sitting, right?
This isn't real.
The more we sought the comfort, the more we had to confront the consequences of being sedentary. Modern ergonomists warn that there is no such thing as the perfect chair, and doctors and health researchers even go so far to say that sitting is actually the new smoking. We maybe invented chairs to just rest our bodies, but yet by doing so, we're also kind of destroying them. Chairs allowed us to work, ponder, and socialize with greater ease. Everything from medieval council meetings to the coding sessions of today IT workers. But this very convenience also invites critical reflection.
Fetch the comfy chair. The comfy chair?
The chair symbolizes how every human invention carries a double edge. It solves one problem while introducing another, right? In conclusions, humans invented the chair to elevate body and mind maybe, right? To rest, to think, to signify also status, and to harness productivity, right? Just think about office working, industrial revolution, and so on. The chair's revolution from glorified thrones to everyday objects mirror also our social evolution. Are chairs super dangerous and kind of killing us all? Like very silently and slowly? And should we just, start standing more? Who knows? What do you think? Are you sitting a lot on your chair? I hope you learned something new and found this topic interesting. If you have other historical events, topics or themes in your head you want to know more about, let me know in the comments. And if you didn't have enough history for today, you can gladly check out my channel and check out the other videos I did. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. This is HistoryCrafts, where history crafts itself.